Okay, so we also see 0.2, 0.7, 0.9. That tells us that somewhere in here we've got to figure out a pattern. And if we look right here, we can see that from 0.7 to 0.9, there's one space. And evenly between those two numbers, we get 0.8. And if all of these then follow that same pattern of 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, then we have 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, and 0. Now on the next part here, we want to look and we want to say, okay, we have tenths, fifths, and tenths. So if we take this and we say, well, this would be 6/10, and I've got two spaces between 3/10 and 6/10, I could say 3, 4, 5, 6. So this would be 4/10 or 2/5, and this would then be 5/10. Again, over here, I have 3/5 or 6/10. That means this is 7/10. Then 7/10 would be 8/10, which would reduce to 4/5 when we simplify. So just keep in mind that that is 4/10, 6/10, and 8/10. So if you notice, all of our even ones, we're reducing because we can divide them both by 2. So then here we have 2/10 or 1/5. And here we have, 1/5. And then from 2/10 we get 1/10. There we go. All right. Then it says which decimal is equivalent to 1/4. So 1/4 right here. And 1/4 is the same as saying 1 divided by 4. And when I take 1 and divide it by 4, I have to add some extra zeros here. I get it doesn't go into 1. Bring that decimal up. It goes into 10 2 times. That gives me 8. Can't go into 2, so I bring that 0 down. And 4 goes into 20 5 times, leaving me with 0. So my answer is 0.25. So 0.25, it is halfway between 0.2 and 0.3. So it is right here, and this is 0.25. All right, moving down, let's see. Now we want to say, what is the sign I want to use in between all of these? So which one is bigger on my number line, 0.2 or 1/2? Well, I can find 0.2 here, and I know that 1/2, I can also get 1/2 right here, right? Because I can simplify this one to be 1/2. Now, if you guys are using a pencil, you can actually correct that because it's 1/2 here. All right, because 5/10 reduces to 1/2. So which one is bigger, 0.2 or 1/2? Well, 0.2 is here, 1/2 is here, so we put smaller, bigger. We put a less than sign. Do that again for the next one. 3/5 right here, and 0.4 right here. So 0.4 gets the smaller. So it's 3/5 is greater than 0.4. We find 7/10. We find 4/5. Which one is bigger? The 4/5. So 7/10 is less than 4/5. So we're basically pointing the small tip towards the one that's further down the line to the left. And the larger space then is to the one that's further up the line. Now, we have 0.5, right? And 1/2, which we've already decided. Those are the same thing. So they are equivalent to each other or equal to each other. Alright, next. When ordering fractions and decimals, either convert the fraction to the equivalent decimal or the decimal to the equivalent fraction. So what that means is instead of saying 0.2 to 1/2, I would change this to be 0.5, and I can say 0.5 is bigger than 0.2. Here, I don't know what 3/5 is going to be easily, but I can check my chart up here and see that 3/5 on my chart is 0.6. And that 0.4 is 2/5. So I can change one of them. And here we can see that 3/5 is bigger than 2/5. If I look at 7/10 and 4/5, sorry, 7/10 is smaller because this is 8/10. And when I look here, I can easily do it without a number line because 0.5, as we decided, is the same as saying 1/2, and 1/2 is the same as saying 0.5. Okay. So then order from greatest to least. So let's look. Write the fraction as an equivalent decimal first. So 1/2 is 0.5. 1/4 is 0.25. And 3/4 is 0.75. So what would that make these if they were written in numerical order? Well, write the number in decimal form in order. So 0.3, well, 0.25 is smaller, but it's not all the way, so it should go up here because it's halfway to the 0.2 that would be here. We have 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, then 0.6, 7, 8, so this is 7.5, so 0.75. So our numbers are now in order: 0.25, 0.5, and 0.75. Reverse that, guys. I read it wrong. It's greatest to least. Opposite direction. Should be 0.75, 0.5, 0.25. All right. And that should take care of all of our numbers. So let's flip it over and do the back. I'm back. Comparing and ordering rational numbers. Which set of fractions represent the order of least to greatest? So which ones are which? Well, the easiest way to look at this is going to be to find ones we know very quickly or easily. So I'm looking right here. I see 2, 8, 16, and 32. It's just doubling. So 32, 16 times 2 is going to give me 2. So this would be 1032. 2 times is going to be 1432. Then I can change this one here. This is going to be 4 times to get there. So 12 32s. And then this one will be times 16, so 1632. Are those in order? Well, no, because here's 16, here's 12, so this one is not. Again, I see the same pattern all the way through here. I've already done this. This is 1632, and the 3/8 is 1232. So far, so good. 1432, and we went wrong again, so no. Here we have the 1632 here, and the 1232 here, right? Good so far. Then it goes 5/16, so 10 32nds, and then 14 32nds. Oh, wait, nope, that didn't work because we went from 12 to 10. All right, so yeah, 16, 12, 10, 14, 12, 16, these are not in order. So let's see, 9 32s, 10 16, or 10 32nds. Okay, that went up. Next one, 3/8 is 12 32nds. That went up. 14 32nds, that went up again. 30, oops, this is actually correct already, so 14 to 15, and then this one goes to 16 32nds, and so A is our answer. Next, the workers at the jewelry shop make 100 necklaces every week. The table shows how many necklaces each worker makes. So we want to try to figure out what order these go in. The easiest way to put them in order is going to be to convert them all to the same thing. And so let's start with the 2/20ths. We know that this is going to be 1/10, which can be written as 0.1. The 1/5 we know can be written as 0.2, because that can also be, 2/10, and that's also 2/10, so 0.2, and then we have 0.4. Then we have to figure out what this one is, and when we're doing percentages, we take our decimal point that would be here, and we go 1 and 2, and we put it over here and add a 0, so now we have 0.3. So we know that down here, our order should be 2/20ths, right here, see, from, greatest to least, so we are looking for the largest, which is 0.4. 0.4, then 30%, and then 1/5, and then 2/20ths, making the answer D. Alright. Next, we have some practice for you guys to do.